Hey, this is Alex Albrand. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to discuss the best sales tips that I've learned from over 10,000 sales calls over the last 8 years in my business. I've made well over 8 figures solely through phone sales, nothing door to door, nothing in person, all over phone calls, Zoom meetings. So if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, anybody in sales that's selling a high value service, this is for you. The most important thing is you have to focus on how you say something versus exactly what you're saying. Meaning the certainty, the confidence in what you're saying, that's way more important than following a sales script. A lot of people, if you're selling a high value service, you run an agency or you're selling real estate, one transaction could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. So on a sales call, a few seconds of uncertainty, of waiver, of filler words, saying like, long pauses, to the other person on the other end, that drives uncertainty. It drives a lack of trust. It drives, maybe they're a newbie, right? Maybe they don't really know what they're doing. I'm not gonna trust them with selling my $1 million home. I'm not gonna trust them with this $40,000 transaction. I'll go to someone else. So when you're starting out in sales, or even if you're not, you have to focus on what am I saying? Yes, but more importantly, how am I saying something? You have to speak with certainty, with confidence. That's what people pay for, because they feel, wow, this person, they're going to deliver results. They're going to get the job done. And it's because of how they're speaking, how I'm speaking. Again, on a phone call, I can't use these hand gestures. I can't use eye contact. I don't have any other factor in terms of influencing and using persuasion besides my voice. So focus on how you speak versus what exactly you're saying. That's way more important. Another issue that I see a lot of salespeople do, a lot of business owners do, is that they feel like they have to convince people, right? They have to oversell in their mind to really drive home the sale. But I'm talking specifically about high level transactions, things that are tens of thousands of dollars, like I said, or well above that. Those tactics don't work because number one, you're bringing in the wrong type of client who would respond to high pressure sales tactics and overselling and things of that nature that aren't necessary. I've had so many clients tell me, Alex, I worked with you because you didn't oversell. You didn't push me to sign up. Most people I work with, even if they want to sign up with me on the call, I say, hey, take a week, sleep on it, pray about it, and then in a week, if you have any questions, let me know. I've never had someone sign up and the next day say, actually, I want to back out. I don't want to work with you anymore. I've never had that in my entire career because I don't push, I don't oversell. If I feel like I have to convince someone and really get them and say, you need to sign up, I usually tell them it's not a great fit, because in sales, it's not just about getting the sale, especially if you're running a business. You have to focus on servicing the customer. And if they feel like from day one, this first interaction was a little bit high pressure, a little bit overselling, then it's just not the best way to start that relationship. And a client who could have been a dream client, who could have been excellent long-term, they start off with a little bit of doubt and maybe they try to back out, or maybe there's some issues down the road just because of the overselling and pushing in this initial conversation. And so if you're in sales, you have to focus on, again, you want to help someone understand if this is their goal, this is where they're at. Focus on what issues are they dealing with, what is going to stop them from reaching that goal, and then tailor your pitch, tailor your solution to how you're going to help them reach that goal and figure out how to make that work with them. The fake urgency, like I only have 5 spots and I'm on spot number 3, so you should sign up now and I'll give you $500 off. Like stuff like that only works if you're selling a little $200, thing. But if you're selling something for $30,000 or even much more, you're dealing with high level people and you want to interact with them in a certain way. So if someone says, hey, I want to think about it, I tell them you should, and you should talk to your spouse about it. Right? I don't want someone signing up on the spot, paying 30, 40 grand, and then the next day being like, oh, actually, I got to talk to my husband. He wants to talk to you. I would have rather them say, hey, talk with your husband, talk with your wife, work on it for a few days together, see what specific questions you have, and we'll have another phone call. Again, the whole one call close, kind of like pushy overselling, that works if you're selling a newspaper subscription for $20 a month. It works with low-level transactions because it's not a big deal. Like you don't need to talk to your spouse about getting a subscription to Bloomberg, right? But about a $30,000 transaction or picking your realtor or a big thing, they're going to need to have that conversation if you're doing things the right way in your business. And so I recommend people don't oversell. It's not going to work long term for your business, and you're driving away people who would actually help you build your business long term. The biggest issue I see, not just in my old self, right, but most people getting into sales or just trying to grow their business over the phone or on Zoom meetings, is that they just talk. Right? God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, because a lot of the time people think, I have this script, I have confidence, I have certainty, I'm going to get the sale. But then they just go into the sales call, they don't listen to what's the person's problem, right? They came to you not for information, not to have a chat. They came to you because they have a problem and they want a solution. If you go to the doctor, they sit you down and they say, hey, how are you feeling? What issues are you dealing with? What's your health been like? They ask you a bunch of questions because they think, okay, based on that and based on how you want to feel or what your goal is, I have this solution, whether it's a pill or prescription or a certain way of changing your lifestyle. A lot of people in sales, though, they just watch a movie on sales and they just are going to go in and I'm going to convince him. I'm going to drive the sale. I'm going to make it happen. You want to have a conversation. You need to listen and say, hey, what brought you to this call today? Like, why'd you reach out to me? You didn't reach out because you wanted a friend. Like, you saw my marketing, you saw my website, you saw maybe a video, and you have this issue, you need a solution, and let's talk through it together. Because the more you listen, you're getting ammunition, in a sense, where the more you understand what someone's goal is, but also what their motivation is, right? Like, if someone wants to grow their business and make more money, you don't want to make more money to just make more money to just make more money. Right? You want to grow a business to buy a house or have a better lifestyle or have freedom. As an example, right? Maybe the motivation is different for your clientele, but the more you listen, you get more of an idea of exactly what their motivation is, what's driving them, and you can help them with your solution at the end of the call when you pitch to say, hey, I know you discussed your goal of doing X, Y, and Z, or your motivation for achieving this. Here's exactly what my program does, or here's what my service does that's going to help you make that happen, right? And so a lot of the time people don't listen enough in sales. They just try to talk. They try to use confidence and, again, kind of overselling. Like I said in the last step, they oversell, they just push too much, when if they just sat back and listened and had a normal conversation and used their ears that God gave them instead of their one mouth, they'd be making a lot more money, they would have much happier customers, and overall a much better close rate, and just overall better interactions with people, not just in sales, but in life as well. And so the biggest thing that, again, I did it when I was starting out, everybody does it, they're eager, they're anxious, probably desperate to make a sale as well. But if you just listen, people are gonna tell you what they want, how they want it, and then you can give it to them. Pretty simple. This is just my experience, right? I've had 10,000 sales calls, 10,000 Zoom meetings essentially, and I'm just sharing this experience because I want you to learn from my mistakes and help yourself. Even if you've had 10,000 sales calls, maybe you haven't gotten the results that you want, and maybe you look at sales differently, but again, there's many different ways of doing the same thing. But overall, this is my experience in terms of generating a lot of revenue, generating happy clients as well, over the last 8 years. And with entrepreneurship, I took the hard route. Right? I didn't learn from other people's mistakes generally. I said, let me just dive in and I'll figure it out, which is a great mindset to have. But if you're watching this video, hopefully you can learn from my mistakes, look at my success, look at the positive results, but then save yourself the time and the energy by looking at my mistakes and saying, okay, let me just not do that. Let me listen, right? Let me actively listen to what someone's goals are. Let me not oversell. Don't try to convince people. Give them the information that they need. Let them make the best decision for them. And overall, just speak with certainty, work on your language, your vernacular, your grammar, your vocabulary. If you implement those things, you're going to generate more sales. You're going to generate a higher close rate, whether you work in a company, whether you have your own business. And I highly recommend looking at your sales, whether you look at your past calls or you just look at your overall sales call experience up to this point. Look at the lessons that I mentioned and figure out which one maybe you're the best at, maybe you can tweak it, and which one you're the worst at, so you can really focus on that heading into the next maybe 10 or 20 calls. And I'd love if you can comment below. Do that test for the next 10 or 20 calls, change one lesson, whether it's listening more, asking more questions, or speaking with more certainty. Make that change in your sales conversations and then come back to this video. Maybe it's a month later, maybe it's 3 months later. Comment below what the feedback was, what the results were, and I can comment back and try to give you some feedback as well. Thanks for watching and have a great day.